All right, good morning, everybody. We're going to take a look at the weather today. We're going to take a look at short term, medium term, and long term in the forecast. First of all, we're going to take a look at NOAA's 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, and then their 8 to 14 day temperature outlook. And then we're going to take a look at the Jamstack and what that's predicting for the rest of the next 9 months, basically. And then just a little short-term forecast. So let's first of all take a look at the Jamstack weather model and see what that has to show for us. My apologies, my computer is loading really slow, but it'll get there. In the meantime, though, winter's almost officially over. I believe the first day of spring is March 21st, I believe. That's the astronomical spring. Now, of course, we already entered meteorological spring, which started on the 1st of March. But again, let's take a look at the Jamstack weather model as this finally loads. And let's just take a look and see what this is predicting for the next, let's look at summer and spring. So here's spring, our sea surface temperature forecast temp anomalies. And we see basically a neutral ENSO. The La Nina has faded. And again, it wasn't that strong of a La Nina this winter. But it did bring some cold, I believe, through it. And now we take a look at our 2-meter air temperature anomalies for April through June this spring. And it looks like a very warm spring for Texas and Central America, in the central part of the United States of America, I should say. Let's take a look at our precip anomalies. And sometimes you can grasp the severe weather that's going to take place with the precip anomalies. They do correlate with each other quite nicely and well. And it looks like a dry and warm spring for the central United States of America. Really, no major swaths of heavy precip or above average precip, I should say, in the USA. So a hot and warm spring on tap for much of the country, according to this model, the Jamstack weather model. And June through August, the the dry conditions move and shift to the Great Lakes a little bit, shifted northeast about 100 or 200 miles, and so it could be a dry summer for Great Lakes. But let's take a look at our 2-meter air temperature anomalies, see what they have to say. And this is forecasting a very hot summer, much like the look of the summers of 2010, 11, and 12, some of our warmest summers ever, and ironically, some of our coldest winters ever, which is kind of like what we dealt with this past winter going into summer, the outlook. I mean, we had a pretty cold winter. It wasn't a record breaker by any stretch of the means, but it was cold. And now we're having potentially, by this forecast off the Jamstack model, a very warm summer. We'll see what happens with that. Let's take a look at our sea surface temperature anomalies for the summer and see if what develops, if an El Nino develops or a La Nina. And it seems like an El Nino is trying and starting to develop in the equatorial Pacific for summer. Let's take a look at fall and see what it has for fall in terms of our sea surface anomalies, and then kind of fades away. So no major indication that we're going to have a strengthening and growing El Nino for going into the winter months, at least not yet. Taking a look at our 2-meter temperature air anomalies for September through November, this would be fall. Again, a pretty warm fall across much of the USA. Precip, let's take a look at for fall for September through November and see what the Jamstack has for our precip anomalies. And again, not much in the way of any extremities in terms of above average precip or below average precip. It's kind of just neutral. And I told you I would look at NOAA's 6 to 10 day medium range outlook. This is their 6 to 10 day outlook through March 24th through the 28th of March of this year. And cool for the east, warm for the west, very warm for the west. And let's take a look at our precip. And there's your dry swath of precip there in the yellow in the central part of America, and in the southwestern part of America. Your above average precip in the northeast, in the northwest, and in Florida, and in the very southern part of Texas. Let's take a look at our 8 to 14 day outlook. Temps, again, below average for the northeast, parts of the northeastern Great Lakes, and above average for the southwest. So big heat ridge developing in the west in the next 2 weeks, and precip for the next, through 8 days, 8 through 14, which will be March 26th through April 1st. Happy early April Fool's Day, everybody. Not fooling you. Just kidding. And here's our precip outlook. Very wet for California and Oregon. Dry for Florida. Wet for Texas. Dry for parts of New Mexico and Arizona. Wet for much of the country. So that's about it. I will give you our current USA temperature map. As for a more short-term forecast, even though this is really a now forecast, I promised I give you guys a short-term forecast. Well, this will substitute for the short-term forecast as your now forecast. Here is our current map as of 8:20 a.m. today. And again, we have a storm system bringing some snow to places in the Midwest like Iowa and Nebraska and Arkansas and Missouri. Actually, not Missouri. But ahead of that, a lot of warm air. Here in Cleveland, it's going to be 70 today. So a lot of warm air in front of the system. Behind it, a lot of cold air. But that won't last long because, again, we're heading into spring. So any snow that does accumulate with this won't last long because the high sun angle in spring weather is coming. Warmer weather is most certainly coming because, again, spring is here. So, all right, guys, that's it. Thank you for watching. Have a great day, and Mary bless you.